Hey everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tuckerwald, Marks Point. This Friday's fishing report. A little bit overcast, but it's not going to be too bad this weekend. Today we've had a few rain squalls come through, but we're in for that southeast to easterly set as we get right up to basically Australia Day on Thursday. And look, some really fancy weather in the forecast for Wednesday, Thursday. So it looks like a great public holiday coming up next Thursday. Last weekend, of course, one of the best marlin bites I'd seen for quite some time out here off Swansea. We went ducked out on the Saturday. We got a black, a blue and a striped marlin, which doesn't happen that often. But a few of the boys that were down, Matty Smith and certainly Ryan Bettison that was further south from us, got some good numbers there. Matt Smith and the crew, 6 marlin for the morning, and Ryan 5. Some great fishing, and that fishing continued into Sunday. And then by Monday it started to taper off and the bite moved south. There's a lot of black marlin coming down the coast, some really solid reports up around Port Stephens, but these fish are off our part of the coastline at the moment. Reports of marlin at the ships, which is around about 60 metres or 30 fathoms of water, but I would reckon there's probably even fish closer. I know through the week up at Port Stephens there was black marlin getting caught as close in as Cabbage Tree. So these fish are going to only been around about sort of like 40 metre maximums, and I think even closer. There's quite a few bonito around Moon Island, and mixed in with these bonito there's quite a few tailor as well. The bottom fishing off the coast here at the moment has dropped off a little bit. There wasn't a lot of trag caught on the weekend, a few reds and of course a few flathead, but I think a lot more service activity. Big tides this weekend, 9:30 tomorrow, 2:05, 10:30 on Sunday, 2.12, and even a 2.13 on Monday. New moon rolls through Sunday night, so we've got these huge tides in the morning dropping right down, and of course tomorrow afternoon around about 3:30 it drops rate of 0.2, so we've almost got 2 metre tidal exchanges this weekend. So that big run of water makes our estuary fishing perfect. Now prawn run is already happening, it's happening as we speak. Last night some really good results, Eastern King prawns moving out. So with the build up of these prawns in the channel, we will see an increase in squid, and I've talked to a few of the guys. No, they're not getting bad limit catches of squid, but it is definitely improving with the benefit of this prawn run. A lot of brim in the system, and of course those brim right throughout the channel. I watched a lot of fish get caught at the bridge last week early in the morning before we went through the bridge. But those fish, Salts Bay and around onto the beaches now, and the beaches in particular, fishing well for brim, whiting, big dart of course, but there's a mixture of tailor. These tailor have been up in Blacksmith's breakwater and along our part of the beach. They're not big fish, guys, 40s, 45s, but there's quite a few tailor along our beaches and mixed in with these bonito, Moon Island, Mawson and further south. So the fishing surface-wise starting to heat up, getting very, very good. Back in the estuary here, kingfish. Swansea Bridge, there's been some cracking catches of kingfish in the around that bridge area. Live squid or surface, stick baits or poppers working perfectly. If you get there really early in the morning, and I think the benefit of these really big tides over the next 3 days, it's going to really switch itself on. Whiting on the flats. I know Alex, as he might be taping this recording at the moment, is actually being out here catching a few whiting with a couple of his mates. So whiting on these flats, but they'll increase in big numbers. Tube worms working very, very well, but a lot of schools of kingies. Marks Point drop over, few squid there, but there's a lot of kings in and around that Marks Point area. But remember guys, there's quite a few undersized fish around. This week, because we had those nor'easters on Monday, Tuesday, everyone was ringing me, what's happened to the water level of the lake? It seemed to have drained out. The southern in particular was super low. It was because we had those not just medium type tides. We had big outs and only low tides, you know, probably in and around about 0.3s, 0.4s, but the high tides were nothing. They were around about 0.4 to 0.5. This big flush of water is going to get right through to the back of the lake, so you'll see the lake fill up full of water, and I reckon this weekend it's really going to switch on out here. A few mulloway getting caught, and I think the benefit of that new moon on Sunday night will be absolutely perfect. Guys, it's about getting out there and having a look. I know a lot of guys are going to be heading out to the shelf, ducking out to Port Stephens to tangle in to some of these marlin that are thick off the coast at the moment. There was some very nice dolphin fish caught, certainly out on the shelf on the weekend. Lucky lady angler Ryan Bettison's beautiful wife caught a couple of cracking dolphin fish out there as well. So these fish are starting to build that water temperature in around 24.5 degrees, 22 degrees on the beach. So things looking great. Stray day coming up, guys. Make the most of this week. It's not going to be too bad, but I tell you what, we're in some really gun weather as it gets closer to Thursday. We may do an early report, considering that the public holiday will be Thursday. Get out there amongst them. See you next Friday.